Hi, good afternoon, Bridgewater-Raynham, grades 7 through 12, parents and families. This is Ryan Powers, the Assistant Superintendent of School. It is Sunday, March 14th, also National Pi Day. So for all you mathematicians out there, I hope you're having a great Pi Day. Hope everyone's having a great weekend. The weather is certainly beautiful outside, so hopefully you're able to get some time out there. I did want to just provide some information today to our middle school and high school families. As you know, we shared some information last week, and although it was a general overview, it did have more of a elementary school focus. So we wanted to provide a little bit additional information today for our grades 7 through 12 families. So if you bear with me, I'm going to share my screen. I apologize, that wasn't back at the beginning. Okay, here we go. So again, today's focus really is on middle school and high school. I certainly don't want to go through the entire presentation we did the other day, so I'm trying to keep it short and sweet, but provide our middle school and high school families with some information. So I do want to just kind of share already what's been done. If you haven't been privy to any of the information thus far, talk to you a little bit about the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education and the information they've put out. Obviously, talk to you about our proposal for returning all students to school this spring, and then share with you some next steps. So last week on Wednesday, March 10th, we did share out with all of our families a Google slide presentation along with a video explanation just like this one, and a survey, and that survey was for our K through 6 parents. Now, many of you I know at the high school, middle school, high school level probably watched that presentation. If you haven't, I would definitely suggest you go back, because there was some more additional information in that presentation talking about kind of a timeline and overview of where we've been, where we are now. And for those of you that did already watch that, I didn't want to go through that whole process again. So if you haven't watched it, I'm going to refer you back to that original presentation, but obviously provide you with some updates today, specifically around middle school and high school, which I think hopefully everyone will be very pleased with. So again, just to kind of give you a quick recap, obviously the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, their board voted on March 5th to give Commissioner Riley the authority to essentially mandate the return of all students this spring. He has proposed a phased-in approach, starting with elementary school students. And the dates that the department has shared with all communities is he would like all elementary school students back on April 5th. He would like middle school students back on the 28th, which is a Wednesday. Still, we're somewhat puzzled as to why a Wednesday. And then high school, he has not established a date yet for high school. I'm going to share with you as we go through this our tentative dates for middle school and high school as well. Obviously, what I would say is this, and I've said this in the other presentation, and we will continue to say this. This plan is fluid and flexible. All of our planning is based on the information we have at the time. We will be sending out a survey to our middle school and high school families. So once we have all that data, we will be able to solidify our return to school plan. And again, as we get additional information from our facilities department, our boards of health, our collective bargaining units, our administrative team, obviously our reopening committee, parent surveys, any information that we get, we are going to be revising and updating our plan. So, really, if you haven't even watched March 10th plan, we already have updates since then. So I would just encourage you to be patient. We will share information as we get it, and certainly as soon as we have it and it's ready to get out to you. But we are, moving forward. So again, just please, have that patience and understanding. I understand this is, probably a little bit small on your screen, but I'll just give you a quick recap. We did on March 9th hold our reopening committee meeting. We reconvened our reopening committee that had convened last year to talk about the fall reopening. We will continue to schedule additional dates with them as we go through this spring reopening. As I already stated on Wednesday, March 10th, we did send out some information to all of our families with a general overview and obviously that elementary survey. That on the 15th, we are going to be sharing, which is tomorrow, we're going to be sharing this presentation with our middle school families. And we're also going to be sending out a survey. And basically that survey is asking families to commit to commit to their intentions for the remainder of the year, whether they'll come back to school or they'll transition to the fully remote program, which we'll talk about. Thursday, the 18th, there is a special school committee meeting to obviously review the spring reopening. And then on the 22nd, we are also going to, I'm sorry, let me back up a little bit. I forgot one date. Tuesday, the 16th, March 16th, there will be a town hall. We'll be holding a town hall for all of our families, share information, answer any questions. Again, some of that is more specific to our elementary grades. So we will be holding an additional town hall on Monday, the 22nd, for our grades 7 through 12 families. Families are certainly welcome to attend either one, but obviously one will have more of an elementary focus and one will have more of a middle school, high school focus. And then, we are tentatively scheduled right now for April 5th, Monday, April 5th, for all of our elementary school students. We do believe we will be able to, meet the commissioner's expectations. Good news. I know last week when I shared some of this information with you, we had not yet established a return to school date for our middle school and high school students. Right now, we're cautiously optimistic. We are going to return all grades 7 through 12 students on Monday, April 26th. Originally, the commissioner had said middle school on the 28th. We believe that at this time, we can return all middle school students on Monday, the 26th. We also believe at this time, given the information that we have, again, this will be updated. We do believe we will be able to return all high school students as well on Monday, the 26th. Certainly, once we get this survey data with your intentions for the remainder of the school year, we will be able to either commit to those dates or certainly have to make some adjustments. But we are cautiously optimistic, more so this week than we were last week, and hopefully as the next week or two goes on, we will have a firm start date for our high school and middle school students. As I shared with you, obviously in our first presentation, health and safety remain at the forefront. All of the protocols that we've put in place will remain in place. Now, they're so important now more than ever. So all of our mitigation strategies. And really what it boils down to is, health and safety. If you're not feeling well, please stay home. That's what we're basing all of our return plans on. Obviously, we're doing our part to stop the spread. And those mitigation strategies, wearing a mask, students will now they've had to wear a mask all along, and they will continue to do so. Obviously, we're going to be, still using physical or social distancing. There will be some changes there. The school committee had voted to establish a 4-foot minimum. The commissioner has come out to say that all schools should be returning using the 3-foot minimum, which isn't new. The department had actually put that information out last year. However, we proactively increased that. But based on the science and data that we have from the department, we do feel comfortable at this point proposing a return to that 3 feet, especially in order to get all of our students back to school. Obviously, we're going to continue to focus on hand washing, hand sanitizing, and cleaning and disinfecting all of our buildings. Obviously, parents, you back in the fall had received a facilities and operation plan from each of your schools. Those will be updated to reflect a full return to all students. Full return of all students to in-person learning. So again, you'll be receiving that. And I know parents, have had questions all along about, what will mealtime look like? Where will they be having lunch? At the elementary level snack? All that information will come specifically from your building principal, because there's not a one-size-fits-all approach, because all of our schools operate slightly differently. So we certainly don't want to say this is what we're doing district-wide. We will meet all of the expectations put out by the department, but each building will do that separately. Transportation guidance has been updated. So at this point, there's no social distancing on the school buses, so we can actually put more students on the bus, which is great news. I do want to share some information with you today about site assessments, specifically around the middle school and high school. And then, the other part of the reopening plan will be teaching and learning, which we will be sharing information with you in the coming weeks. Just to remind everybody, and again, if you've already watched this presentation, each site assessment was conducted at each one of our schools based on our enrollment rate now of students in the hybrid model. Our plans that we're proposing could obviously change once we have more concrete data from families. At the elementary school, middle school, and high school, we do believe we can return all students. However, how we do that will look slightly different at each school and at each level. And again, we won't have final plans until we collect all that survey data from our elementary families and then obviously our middle school and high school families. So please, again, that flexibility is so key, but as is completing that survey. We really need concrete numbers. We need a survey back from everybody. That's so important. But one of the things that obviously, as we've shared and we've talked about all along, depending on how many students are returning, we may be able to accommodate everybody in their current classrooms. However, if we have a large number of students coming back, say from our fully remote classes, that may look different. We may have to reassign students to other classes and obviously assign classes to other locations within the building, such as communal spaces, such as gyms, cafeterias, auditoriums, lecture halls, whatever it may be. That is the reality. The other thing to note, if we do have a large number of families come back from our fully remote program, our Edgenuity program at the middle school and high school levels, that may mean we may have to take some of that those Edgenuity staff members and reassign them back to in-person learning. So again, just throwing out all the possibilities. Once we have more concrete information and data from our surveys, we will really know what this will look like. But we're just throwing out all possibilities to you now so you have a full understanding of what that may look like. So there's no surprises at the end. So again, just wanted to provide some updated information. I shared some of this with you in the last presentation, but again, more information, is coming out, and obviously we feel a little bit better about where we are today than we did last week, specifically around our middle schools. Really for Raynham Middle, not much will change from last week. We do feel confident that we are going to be able to get all 7th and 8th grade students back. How we do that, again, based on the survey data we have, will potentially could change it. Right now, we believe at 7th grade, we'll be able to keep all students with their current teachers. However, we may need to relocate a classroom or two to a bigger space just so that they can, safely house all of our students using physical distancing. But again, we believe right now all 7th grade students will be able to remain with their teachers. However, once we have that, concrete data, we'll know for sure, but it may mean, a particular classroom moving to a larger space. And I don't even believe it'll be a communal space. I believe our plan right now, again, based on numbers, we'll just be going to a larger classroom. Grade 8, again, depending on the information we get back, grade 8 may require us to add an additional staff member in grade 8. And unfortunately, reassign students to another class. Again, we'll try to keep all those students on the same team as much as possible, but depending on the situation, we may have to pull students from the other team just to make this new classroom. However, we won't know that for sure until we get that information, but we do know we have space to do it. We will be able to get all Raynham Middle School grade 7 and 8 students back, as well as 5 and 6, which we've already talked about. Bridgewater Middle School grade 7, obviously at the Williams. Again, grade 7 and 8 for Bridgewater Middle School, the enrollment is on the higher side, 25 plus in some cases. We do believe, however, based on our current numbers, we would be able to accommodate the return of our 7th grade students. Again, we may have to get creative in how we do that, possibly relocating classrooms. We do believe potentially we may be able to keep everybody in their class, or we may have to reassign a few students. But we're cautiously optimistic for Bridgewater Middle School. That was kind of the one site, plus the high school, that was really, putting some stress on our return plan. But as the week has gone on, we do feel better about where we're at. And again, once we get additional information, we'll be able to share that. What I'm really pleased to share with you is our high school and Bridgewater Middle School grade 8 situation. As we spoke last week and even prior to that, we were really concerned about returning students to the high school and obviously grade 8. We really didn't anticipate it being possible. One of the things that we've done, obviously, is, we continue to reassess our space, the way we have our rooms configured. And we really spent time over the last week, and I can't thank Ms. Watson and Mr. Califf for all the time that they've spent, and obviously their staffs as well for really being creative. One of the things that we had done originally was, and obviously erring on the side of caution, we had left a significant amount of egress space all around our grade 8 and high school classrooms, so that basically, along the back wall there was some space, along the 2 side walls there was space, and there was a significant amount of space in the front of the room. we, reconfigured some classrooms and said, okay, if we, just creep into this egress space a little bit, would that be okay? And so we proactively reached out to the Bridgewater Fire Department and asked them to come over and do a quick review of the high school. We set up some classrooms for Chief McDermott, and he, obviously gave up his time to come over. We so appreciate that. He did, make some suggestions and alterations on what we had, and said, you got to keep this space, and this space is okay. So really, by doing that, we were actually able to add really almost two additional rows of desks into each middle school and high school classroom, middle school grade 8 and high school classroom. So we're, again, still working out the configurations, but we do believe at this time we'll actually be able to get a significant number of students, more students back. Originally we had put out 18. We're looking at a minimum of 24 now in every classroom, again, because we added 2 additional rows of students, still with safe egress space, with around the classroom. So we're still, meeting codes. And obviously, like I said, we had the fire chief come out, and he was great, provided a lot of insight for us, and he was good with our configurations. So that's what we'll base that our model off of those configurations, getting at least 24 students in every classroom. Some classrooms, again, depending on the room setup, we may actually be able to get more, almost up to 27. Now, again, 27 would probably be the max in some of our average classrooms. Obviously, we have larger spaces at the high school, band rooms and some of the science rooms that they're bigger, although they have their own challenges in terms of configuration. So we do believe, again, we're cautiously optimistic that we will be able to return all high school students. We will have a definitive answer for everyone. Obviously, we're going to share information with the school committee on the 18th at their special meeting. But I would anticipate if we don't have a definitive answer by the 18th, the following week on the 24th is the regular school committee meeting. We will have a final plan on the 24th for our middle school and high school students. But again, right now, we feel a lot better today than we did last week. We do believe we will be able to return all high school students and middle school students on Monday the 26th, which is great news. We were obviously focusing on our elementary grades, and we felt confident about that, and we were really worried about middle school and high school. And obviously, as a high school parent, middle school and high school parent, I'm ecstatic that my own two will be going back, and certainly I'm sure you feel and echo those sentiments as well. However, again, depending on numbers, this could change. If we have a lot of students come back from our fully remote program, this could alter the plan. But right now, we are confident that based on the information we have right now, based on our enrollment on the hybrid model, we will be able to return students at the middle school and high school level. And we are aiming for Monday the 26th. So again, next steps, as I had already shared with you, we'll continue to take all the information that we get from our surveys from the department and update and solidify our return to school plan. We will be sending out a survey tomorrow night, which would be the 15th, to all middle school and high school families. This survey will close on Friday the 19th at 5 p.m. It is so important that we get a survey back for each student so we have concrete numbers that we can work with. So please just, understand that we really need this information, because we don't want to, have to reassign students if we don't have to. We don't want to have to move classes into communal spaces if we don't have to. So really, the information that we can get back would be so important. I did share with you that obviously we'll be having a town hall meeting on the 16th. It'll be more focused around the elementary return. However, everyone's welcome. And then there will be an additional town hall meeting. And even prior to this, we weren't 100% sure of the date. But as you watch this on Monday night, we know that town hall meeting will be Monday the 22nd. Time will be determined. We're getting that information out to you. You will get it in Mr. Swenson's email on Monday the 15th. But as of this presentation, we're still finalizing those details. But I can tell you the town hall specific for middle school and high school students will happen on Monday the 22nd. So we're very excited about that. And again, just as I've encouraged all along, and I know Mr. Swenson has as well, if you have questions about the return to school plan, anything school related, your best bet is to reach out to school administration, whether you're reaching out to your individual principals, assistant principals, your individual schools. Obviously, Mr. Swenson at central office, and certainly please reach out to me. You have both of our contact information there. It is just important that you get the correct information from the source, as opposed to other sources of information. Please come right to school if you have any questions. We will get that information to you. So as I've stated, as soon as things become available, we will share it. We're revising on the fly. As soon as we get information from our families, from the department, from all of our stakeholders, we are revising and updating our plan. We will have more information for you as this week unfolds. Certainly more information for you on the 18th, the special school committee meeting, but even more final definitive information for all of our families K through 12 on the 24th at the school committee meeting that's already scheduled for the 24th. But again, in the meantime, you have any questions, but really, we just did want to provide this update that we are moving forward with returning all middle school and all high school students. Right now, the date that we're shooting for is Monday the 26th. Again, we feel a lot better about that today than we did last week, and that's why we were very cautious and hesitant to share any information with you. We're cautiously optimistic today, and obviously as we go forward, we'll continue to make sure that we can get everybody back. But I just wanted to share that with you. Good news for our middle school, high school students and our families. I hope everybody enjoys the rest of their Sunday, and certainly as questions come up, please just be looking for information from Mr. Swenson or from me. But if you, in the meantime, have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us. I hope everybody has a great rest of the day. I'm going to stop sharing my screen at this point. All right, and I'm going to stop the presentation. So again, have a great rest of the weekend. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and we'll see everybody soon. But good news all around. All right, take care.